something coming up really quick is one of the last lines my fitness instructor said the other day was, everything exists within you. And the divine truth bomb that she just dropped on everyone is the ultimate truth, which is there is nothing outside of you. And when you directly experience this, the God source within you, nothing will ever be the same. And this is your ascension journey. So all the other videos that you're out there watching that are trying to help you better your life experience or focus on personal development or acquiring something outside of yourself and 10xing your life and blah, 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 all of these things, those are traps that will keep you looping in the ping-ponging back and forth in duality, chasing carrots and running from things, because a separate sense of self will never fully know liberation or freedom. You will always be chasing, you will always be seeking, or you will always be running from something to some degree if you are still in that seeking energy. And 99.9% of the content out there is designed to keep you seeking and chasing outside of yourself, which is directly opposite of what I just shared as the divine truth bomb. There is nothing outside of you. Everything exists within you. God is literally playing you. And I'm going to dive into a short little exercise, a little metaphor that's been popping up. And so I feel guided to share this, and you can follow along. And this could cut through all illusion and point you directly to experiencing your true nature. Realizing your true nature, self-realization, is really just the beginning. It's like the kindergarten stage of enlightenment. The separate sense of self that's been seeking spiritual enlightenment this whole journey thinks that somehow that's like the end all be all. In actuality, that's not true. Realizing your true nature is the beginning of you really truly being able to live freely, liberated in your divine expression, without all of the neuroses of the little mind that are constantly having you go down rabbit holes of suffering and unworthiness and lack and scarcity and things like that. So let's just dive into this. I'm excited to share this little exercise. I'm just going to trust that whoever is meant to hear it, it comes out in a way that it will land with you. So if it does land with you and it does resonate, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Go ahead and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I read all of my comments personally, and I try to respond to all of them personally. So also, side note, if you have any questions or you want me to dive deeper into any of these topics or elaborate on anything that I share in any of these videos and these transmissions, then feel free to drop your question or comment. And if I feel it serves the collective at the highest level to bring clarity and truth to a certain topic, then I will shoot a whole video on it. But this is just gonna be a fun, short little exercise. So let's go ahead and dive in. I want you to think of, visualize yourself going to a party. So let's say it's Halloween and you're going to a costume party and you're completely all dressed up in your costume. For this example, we'll just say you're Snow White. You're going to this Halloween costume party you attend every year, and this year you are Snow White and you are fully in your Snow White costume. You are wearing a Snow White mask and you are looking through the eyes of Snow White. You are fully aware that you are looking through the eyes of Snow White, and to the naked eye, you look like Snow White, you talk like Snow White, you move like Snow White, like everybody treats you as Snow White. If somebody says, hey, Snow White, you're gonna turn around, you're going to respond to Snow White. So you're Snow White. That's Ruby in the background if you hear her snoring. My little fur baby. So where was I? You are Snow White and everybody treats you as Snow White at this party. And you look around and you see your friend Bob, who's playing Peter Pan, and you see your friend Susan, who's playing Tinkerbell, and your other friend that's playing Cinderella. And you're just at this party and you're aware that all of these different friends of yours are playing these different characters. So you are looking through the eyes of Snow White. I want you to actually have a visceral experience of what it would feel like to be fully in costume looking through the eyes of Snow White. Looking through a mask and being aware that you're looking through this mask. You're aware right now that you're looking through the eyes of the Snow White costume. And now I want you to literally replace the Snow White mask with the mask of your own face. And that same awareness that is looking through your eyes right now is your divine presence. This is God looking through your eyes right now, wearing the mask of you. God is literally playing you and wearing the mask of what you perceive to be you. We're going to call you a, it's not really character, but I'm just, your me self, right? Your small self, the identity that you have always known yourself to be your entire life. The one with all the stories and the dramas and the traumas and the history and the memories and the projections and the thought patterns and the conditioning and the personality and the quirks and the preferences and all the things. So this awareness that's looking through your eyes right now is the same awareness that has always been looking through your eyes through every trial and tribulation. It's the same awareness that was looking through your eyes when you were born, when you were 2 years old, even though when the physical body was born, you were never born. You were there was form brought in to this apparent time-space reality within you, and now you, the true you, gets to see through the eyes of that new baby, right? When the baby was born, when the you that you think you are, your body was born, right? And when you were a baby, you didn't have all of the neuroses and the thought patterns and the conditioning and the patterns and the character and the personalities and all of that, but you were still there. You were still there. You were still being. You didn't have all your quirks and your preferences and your thought patterns and your fears and your neuroses and your emotional patterns and all of your knee-jerk conditioning and the stories and the narratives and all of those things. But you were there. And that awareness was the same awareness looking through your eyes when you were born, without all of the personality and quirks and character traits and all the things. That same awareness is looking through your eyes right now. That unconditioned, right? That unconditioned awareness is looking through your eyes right now. And this same timeless, ageless, unconditioned awareness, this divine presence that animates your body and beats your heart, and it's the animating presence within you, is the same presence that will be with you in future now moments. So in the context of human life, it will be the same awareness looking through your eyes when you're 95. It never changes. It never goes anywhere. It's never born, and it never dies. This is why sometimes you can hear near-death experiences talk about how after they cross over, they have a hard time even recognizing that they've crossed over, some of them, because the awareness never skips a beat. It's like they don't even realize that they just died. They're just always there. I've had experiences like that as well, the out-of-body experiences, where the awareness was apparently coming from the corner of the bedroom, even though the body was laying on the bed doing yoga nidra and out, like in like delta brainwave states, and yet the awareness was witnessing the body outside of the body, and anyways, I'm not going to share that anymore and go down that rabbit hole right now. I want to get back to this exercise. Okay, so I just lost my train of thought. Let me take a sip of water. Not train of thought, but whatever I was sharing. Transmission. So this awareness is the same awareness, the same presence that's always there. So let's take it back to the metaphor of this exercise. This metaphor of wearing the mask of this, character Snow White. It's no different than thinking about putting on like a virtual headset and seeing that, you're in this virtual reality, but you're the awareness, you're operating it, right? Like you're the creator of it, but you're still seeing the virtual reality play out, even though you're aware that you're wearing a headset and it's not real. It's illusory. So let's take this a step further. This is kind of like, I know I'm all over the place with these examples, but it's kind of like an actor getting into character. Like, I used to take acting classes back in the day, and part of characterization, getting into really embodying the character, is to understand, the story, the background, the childhood history, the core fears, the core desires, the character traits, the nuances, the preferences, the hopes, the fears, like the relationship dynamics, the story, like all of it. When an actor is preparing and getting into character, they fully have to embody all of that. And when you see really good acting, they will embody the character sometimes even before the film starts rolling, and even after, they will stay in character and they will literally embody that. But are they that character? That character, that coalescence of personality and history and dramas and traumas and stories and narratives and thought patterns and projections and fears and hopes and desires and all of those things. And that coalescence is an identity that you call you. But it's not real. It appears as a solidified identity because it's all you've ever known. You were told you were Susan or Sally or Jennifer or Bob or Bill or whatever, and that you have this name and that you're this body and that you have this past and you have this history. It never dawned on you to realize that you are experience, the body exists within you, and it is an experience that's playing out, but that you are beyond that, and you already know that you're beyond the body. I mean, you're aware of much more beyond the body right now, but the senses, they're very, the body's senses will often make you feel as if you exist solely in this body, and that this body is somehow a boundary. In actuality, your body isn't even solid, in truth. And so this coalescence of of thought patterns, mental projections, emotional patterns, and feelings, and all the things can feel so concrete that it becomes an identity, and then you label it and you call it Sarah, and now you're Sarah. But it's really not this solid, concrete identity. There's no real you there. If you had to find you, where would you find you there? Would you find it in your projection? Would you find it in your feeling? Would you find it in your emotion? Would you find it in your thoughts? You don't exist in any of those things. If it was your body, would you find yourself in your toe? Would you find yourself in your finger? Where would you find yourself? If you inquire within, you will not find a separate you. Okay? It's the image that's coming up right now is, hold on. The image that's coming up right now is like a tornado. So a tornado is a weather pattern, really. And it can be moving so fast that even though it's just wind or air, it's moving so fast that if you were to like try to run into it or drive into it, it would feel like hitting a brick wall. It would feel solid, right? But it's the coalescence of everything happening so, you know what I mean? Like it appears solid and it'll feel solid. So obviously you're playing this 3D reality. So you're having this physical expression. So you're not going to go like gravity is going to be part of this play, right? So it's like your body, you don't discount that there's this physical human experience happening, but the identity is what's important here. You are not the physical human body. And maybe you've already had out-of-body experiences like that, you know, there's been a lot of that over here, right? Out-of-body experiences and things like that. And some people have had near-death experiences, or just like, you actually are resting as your divine presence more often than you know. But it's the mind that tries to figure it out, and it's that seeking energy that actually veils it from you, because you're already this. You're already it. It's looking through your eyes right now. So that's why it's so powerful. Like when you replace like the costume mask that you had at the costume party with the mask of your own face and realize it's that same awareness looking through your eyes right now. That is God looking through your eyes right now. That presence, that animating presence has been there the whole time. It's timeless. It's eternal. There's no boundaries to it. It's ageless. It's never born. It never dies. It is the timeless, eternal presence. Now let's take this a step further. So you know your friends are playing all of those other characters too, and so you might think of your friends as separate from you. But in actuality, those friends that are playing the other characters at the party, the other masks, they are what many would call the soul, which is an extension of the one. But the soul is still rooted in duality. The soul is still part of the grand illusion. The soul has this karmic history and incarnates and all of these things, and still goes through the swings of duality and experience. But they are like drops in the ocean, and the souls are like drops of the ocean that just are all part of the one. So all roads lead home. All roads lead home to the truth of your being, which is the oneness, let's say, which is all that is, which is all of this, which is you. And so those individual souls that are playing those different characters are all part of the one. It's just an extension of the one, and then it's like more concrete. So it's like the extension of the one playing the role of individual souls, and then those individual souls getting a little denser and playing the character role, which is the human experience. In this case, the mask that you are wearing as this what appears to be a separate sense of self, which is not the actual truth. When you see this directly, and it can only be a felt direct experience. So sit with this, even after you listen to this, and sit with the awareness, the I amness, the part of you that is here and now, right here, right now. How you know you exist? How do you know you exist? Because you might say, for example, because I'm breathing, or because I'm here, you know what I mean? Or you might say something like that. Well, how do you know you're breathing? You are aware of being. You are aware of existing. This beingness, right? Beingness is your divine presence, and it doesn't go anywhere, and it's always been awake. This is the other part that keeps people seeking on this journey for decades, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Like you could seek your whole life, like, and still never truly experience your divine nature. You can just be a seeker your whole life, and you can be like a spiritual seeker on this journey for 100 years and still never experience your true nature, and still be going through this, all of the spiritual hoops in the spiritual Olympics to try to find God or find your divinity or experience your divinity or whatever, seeking it out in like these transient experiences that all just arise and dissolve within the truth of what you are, which is all of this. You can seek and seek and seek and seek and seek, and that actually will keep it veiled from you. And there's nothing that says if you seek on this journey your whole life that eventually, like, there's nothing that you can do to already be here except for directly experience it. And so I know that sounds really annoying. So the most anybody can do is mirror the frequency back to you, and through resonance, it will be more and more embodied. And there can be something that clicks through the grace of God that just clicks. And it could be this video right now. The illusion is that this is the greatest illusion. The illusion is that you think you're asleep seeking your divine nature. You're already awake. You've never been asleep. You've just been pretending. In this metaphor, you've been pretending to be Snow White, and so you're already this. You're just pretending to be asleep as a small little separate self, and pretending that this identity, the mask that God is wearing as you, is you're pretending that that's all you are. You're pretending that, but it's just, you're always here, you're always this. The God presence within you, the animating essence within you, is not asleep. It's already awake. It's never been asleep, never will be asleep. It's always awake, it's always alive, it's always here, it's always now. And it can only be directly experienced here in the now. It can't be directly experienced in the mind or in the projections, right? It can't be experienced in the memory. It can't be experienced through a spiritual experience. It can only be, you can only be here now. And when you are here now, the you that you thought you were this whole time dissolves, and you realize it was always, it was illusory. It's really no different than the actor playing that character. And so you incarnate, the soul incarnates and plays out these different characters, and you wear all the different masks, and you play in all the different stories, and you reflect back to everybody whatever they needed in their stories, and you've played the villain, and you've played the saint, and all the things and everything in between. This is a lifetime you came to remember your own divinity. This is the lifetime that God came to experience itself through your form. That's the best way it can be probably explained, I guess. Like, and God loves doing this. It's like playing a game of peekaboo with itself. God loves to see the form that it created, to see itself in form, to experience itself through form. And I can't even put words to this. It's just so, like, there is a curiosity and a fun and a play in all of this that is being lost on you because of the identification as the separate sense of self. So if there's nothing else I do in my entire incarnation here other than reflect back the divinity that you are and give pointers to help you directly experience your true nature, because this is really the beginning. This is really the beginning to be able to express authentically and play this game of life from a much higher vantage point without all of the neuroses of the little mind that's rooted in fear and unworthiness and lack and scarcity and all the other things. This is the beginning of being able to fully live in this direct experience and in this play, the divine play that's being run by the infinite intelligence that's orchestrating the whole thing. So it's always this perfect mirror for what you believe yourself to be. There's always a perfect mirror showing up in your experiences, and that's because you're it. You're all of it. This is God looking at God right now. This is God looking through this phone, which is all the formless that is the form, and I am looking into your eyes. This is God talking to you right now. I'm looking into this camera, talking directly to you because you summoned me here, because you and I are one. And so I'm just here reflecting back. I'm just you talking to you, right? This is God talking to God. And so when you're playing the game of life from this vantage point, from when you're in the world but not of the world, right? I know you've probably heard that. You're like a little mini God walking around this dream reality, creating through frequency whatever it is that you want to create. And most people spend their life creating this reality very unconsciously, tethered to fear. And if you're resonating with this, you're moving into your highest new earth timeline. You're awakening, you're on your ascension timeline, and you are unhooking from the fear grid and creating life from truth, from harmony, from love, from authenticity, from compassion. And all of that is a natural byproduct of you being here now as the truth of who you are. You are God in human form, and so is everyone else. And everyone else will have their own anointed time by grace to awaken to the truth of who they are. And that happens on its own. The thing that will keep you looping the most is the egoic mind coming in the back door telling you that there's more to do, that you're not already awake, that you're not already whole. All of that can fall away in an instant. Right here, right now. It can only happen here and now. And when you begin to see through your eyes, right? Like the mask of you that God is wearing, God is looking through your eyes. And when you can begin to see through with pristine awareness, just as if you were looking through the mask of Snow White with pristine awareness that Snow White is not real, right? And you can start to see through that, through your own human vessel, that while all of this is very, yes, this body feels tangible and you can touch it and all the things, it's not the totality of what you are. And this body exists within you. Everything does, which I think brings me full circle now to that divine truth bomb that my fitness instructor dropped on the class at the very beginning. I think I mentioned it in this transmission. If I didn't, she said, everything exists within you.